Rockstar Games is known for making games that are simply out of world, and the thing that makes these games out of the world is mechanics and features. So today, let me tell you about my personal favorite and some of the best Rockstar Games created features, the bullet time. Now, for those unfamiliar, bullet time is a gameplay mechanic that allows you to slow down time during intense gunfights, giving you a brief window to take out enemies with precise aim. And let me tell you, Rockstar nailed this feature in Max Payne 3. First off, the implementation is just so damn smooth. With a simple click of a button, the world around you slows to a crawl, and you can easily line up those headshots like a boss. It's like having a cheat code for pinpoint accuracy, but without the guilt of actually cheating. But what really sets Max Payne 3's bullet time apart is how it's integrated into the gameplay loop. It's not just a gimmick, it's a core mechanic that you'll rely on throughout the entire game. Rockstar did an excellent job of balancing the use of bullet time, making it essential for survival in the most chaotic scenarios, but never feeling like a crutch. And let's not forget the visual flair that comes with bullet time. When you activate it, the camera zooms in, and everything takes on a stylized, almost comic book-like aesthetic. It's a perfect blend of gameplay and cinematic presentation, adding to the overall cool factor of the experience. Rockstar did a fantastic job with this mechanic, making Max Payne 3 not just a great third-person shooter, but also a testament to the developer's ability to create innovative and engaging gameplay experiences. I also loved hair growth mechanic in Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Hair growth? In a video game? Who cares? But hear me out, because this seemingly minor detail is actually a pretty cool addition to the game. First off, let's talk about immersion. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a game that prides itself on its attention to detail and its ability to create a living, breathing world. And what's more realistic than having your character's hair grow over time? It's a small touch, but it's one that adds to the overall sense of authenticity in the game. But the hair growth mechanic isn't just about realism. It's also a reflection of the game's commitment to player choice and consequences. Depending on how you choose to play the game, your character's appearance will change accordingly. Neglect your personal hygiene, and Arthur Morgan will start looking like a grizzled mountain man. Take the time to visit a barber or bathe regularly, and he'll maintain a more kempt appearance. And let's not forget the role-playing aspect of this mechanic. For those of you who really like to get into character, the hair growth system allows you to shape Arthur's appearance to match your vision of him. Want to rock a rugged outlaw look? Let that hair and beard grow wild. Prefer a more refined, gentlemanly vibe? Keep it trimmed and tidy. Of course, like any mechanic, the hair growth system isn't perfect. Some players might find it frustrating to have to constantly manage their character's appearance, especially if they're the type who likes to just jump into the action. But for those of us who appreciate the little details, it's a welcome addition to the game. At the end of the day, the hair growth mechanic in Red Dead Redemption 2 is just one small example of the care and attention that Rockstar Games put into creating a truly immersive and lived-in world. It's not a game-changing feature, but it's those little touches that really make the experience shine. Now let me tell you why I absolutely love the special ability feature for the protagonists in GTA 5. Michael's ability is called Bullet Time, which should sound familiar if you've ever played Max Payne. When activated, it slows down time, allowing Michael to take out enemies with precision shooting like a total boss. Franklin's special ability is called Franklin's Driving, which is just as awesome as it sounds. When activated, it puts Franklin into a state of hyper-focused driving, making him capable of pulling off insane stunts and maneuvers that would make Vin Diesel jealous. And then there's Trevor. Oh, Trevor. His special ability is called Red Crazy, and it's exactly what it sounds like. When activated, Trevor enters a rage mode that makes him practically unstoppable, dealing increased damage and taking less damage himself. Some says, isn't that a bit over the top, even for GTA? And to that, I say, hell yeah, it is. And that's what makes it so freaking awesome. Look, we're talking about a game that lets you carjack, rob banks, and generally cause mayhem on a massive scale. So, having special abilities that turn the protagonists into literal superhuman badasses just feels right at home in the over-the-top world of GTA. Plus, let's be real. There's just something incredibly satisfying about activating one of these abilities and watching your character become an unstoppable force of nature. It's like a power fantasy come to life, and it's just plain fun. And if you can't appreciate the sheer ridiculousness of watching Trevor go into a rage-fueled rampage, or Michael pulling off a slow-motion bullet ballet, then maybe you're playing the wrong game. At the end of the day, the protagonist's special abilities in GTA 5 are just one more example of why this game is an absolute masterpiece of open-world chaos and fun. Also, let's give a shout-out to antagonizing feature in Red Dead Redemption 2. Think about it. You're role-playing as an outlaw in the lawless frontier. You ain't gonna be all sunshine and rainbows with every person you come across, right? Sometimes, you gotta let that outlaw attitude shine through, and that's where the antagonize option comes into play. With a simple button press, you can start jawing at any NPC you come across, from townsfolk to fellow gang members. And the level of sass and sassback is just... You can really get into some heated exchanges, pushing buttons and seeing how far you can take it before things get ugly. But it's not just about being a trash-talking tough guy. The antagonize feature also opens up new narrative avenues and side quests that you might not have accessed otherwise. Sometimes, you gotta ruffle a few feathers to get the juicy bits of storyline, or unlock those hidden missions. The pure entertainment value of just cutting loose and letting your outlaw side run wild. There's something innately satisfying about getting all up in someone's grill, talking that smack, and seeing how they react. It's like a little game within the game, and it just adds so much flavor to the overall experience. One of the standout elements of GTA 4's gameplay is the way characters' bodies react to impacts and explosions. Instead of canned animation sequences, the game utilizes advanced ragdoll physics to simulate how a body would realistically flail and contort upon taking heavy damage. This results in some wildly exaggerated but undeniably hilarious moments. While many games try to make injury sequences look gritty or brutal, GTA 4 leans into the over-the-top spectacle. Characters will bend and twist in seemingly impossible ways as they go ragdoll, their limbs flailing independently like a marionette with cut strings. It's a system that could come across as glitchy in other titles, but in the heightened reality of the GTA world, it just works. The real genius is how the ragdoll physics integrate with the game's punishing combat and wanton destruction. Get too close to an explosion, and you'll see bodies contort gymnastic alley as they soar through the air, or climb into a vehicle after taking heavy gunfire, and Nico's struggle to maintain control while his limbs jerk erratically sells the sense of critical injury. Even incidental impacts with the environment can send PEDs careening in hilarious ways. Compared to other open-world action games which tend to favor scripted hit reactions and canned death animations, GTA 4's commitment to dynamic physics-based impacts makes the violence feel more spontaneous and unpredictable. The reactions never look quite the same twice. While games like Red Dead Redemption 2 brought more grounded realism, there's an undeniable entertainment value to GTA 4's excessive ragdoll antics. The system doesn't always work perfectly, of course. Bodies can contort into impossible knots, or limbs will go wildly rigid at times. But that baseline jankiness is part of the charm. GTA 4 codifies a core aspect of Rockstar's design philosophy. If the chaos and physical comedy enhance the fun factor, then imperfections can not only be accepted, but embraced wholeheartedly. So while you could criticize the ragdoll physics as unrealistic or a bug in other games, in the off-kilter GTA world, it represents a real technological showcase that highlights the mad genius of the developers. It's a mechanic that has provided endless unscripted hilarity over the years and elevated the cinematic criminal drama into a spectacle of violent vaudeville. In that sense, the flawed but glorious ragdoll physics rate among GTA 4's most successful gameplay features. The combat system in Bully is one of the standout features that make the game really shine. It's a simple but super satisfying mechanic that just works really well. On paper, it doesn't seem like anything too crazy. You've got your basic punch, kick, grapple, and weapon attack inputs. But Rockstar took that straightforward foundation and built something special on top of it. First off, the actual feel and animation of the combat is just so well done. The hits have a real sense of impact and weight behind them. When you land a clean punch or kick, you can almost feel it through the controller. It's immensely satisfying in a visceral way. But beyond just looking and feeling good, The combat system in Bully is brilliantly tied into the game's overall vibe and open-world playground setting. Getting into schoolyard tussles and roughhousing with the various cliques is pretty much encouraged mayhem. The combat gives you all the tools you need to dish out knuckle sandwiches while adding to that rambunctious kid-ruled atmosphere. Where the system really shines, though, is in the hierarchy and factional dynamics. Who you fight and how you fight them actually impacts your standing and relationships at Bulworth Academy. Getting rowdy with the nerds might impress the greasers, but it'll put you at odds with the jocks. It makes every punch and kick have weight beyond just an immediate scuffle. Tying it all together is just how fluid and responsive the controls are. You can easily mix up your strikes into combo strings, grapple enemies to the ground, and even utilize improvised weapons like baseball bats or bottles when fists just won't cut it. The learning curve is friendly, but has enough depth to remain engaging. So while the combat isn't trying to reinvent the wheel, it absolutely nails the execution with a simple but extremely well-tuned system that is supremely enjoyable to actually use. When combined with Bully's fantastic open-world setting, those schoolyard dust-ups just feel extremely visceral and fun, in a way other games struggle to capture. It's the perfect representation of adolescent recklessness made into an immensely satisfying gameplay mechanic. Another underrated feature from an underrated game is Warriors co-op fighting. The co-op and multiplayer fighting in the Warriors game is an incredibly underrated feature that really deserves more recognition. It's baffling that Rockstar hasn't explored or expanded on that type of mechanic in their other titles, because it could have been crazy good. Just picture being able to team up with your crew and take on rival gangs in massive multiplayer rumbles in the GTA or Red Dead games. The potential for mayhem and insane co-op moments would be through the roof. Imagine rolling deep into an enemy territory turf war with your friends, throwing down with baseball bats and improvised weapons against another player-controlled gang. It could bring those open-world criminal empires to life in an entirely new way. The Warriors nailed that grounded, gritty, multiplayer brawling experience so well too. There was just something immensely satisfying about coordinating strikes and combos with your friends to overwhelm opponents. Grabbing enemies to hold them in place while your co-op partner wailed on them was endlessly entertaining. Or using environmental objects and hazards to set up brutal group beatdowns. It captured that raw, lawless street vibe perfectly. And the potential gameplay depth was definitely there too. Imagine if they expanded on Warriors co-op combat with specified crew roles or fighting styles. Having players dedicated to different combat roles like an enforcer tank, grappler, or agile striker could open up some crazy multiplayer strategies and combos. Throw in parkour-style level traversal and the ability to fight across multiple planes, and you could have some insane multi-layered showdowns. The closest we've gotten in Rockstar's other games are the typical co-op heists or PvP deathmatch modes. But there's so much missed opportunity to really push the envelope on dynamic, open-world melee-oriented multiplayer gameplay. Just imagining loading into a persistent gang territory and having impromptu, player-driven turf wars break out at any moment gets me excited. Seriously, Rockstar dropped the ball by not iterating more on the Warriors' multiplayer DNA. The gritty, explosive action and deeply personal co-op brawling was something really special. And we are done. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you do, you can show some support by subscribing to the channel and liking this video. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, take care, and have a nice day.